Hello, everyone!
Hi, Nathan.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to Reckless Attack, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Nathan, here with my intrepid adventurers.
Yay. Woo! I'm Intrepid Adventurer. Yeah.
Hi, intrepid adventurers.
Hello.
Hey, intrepid adventurers, starting from this intrepid adventurer, could you please introduce yourself and the intrepid adventurer that you'll be both inhabiting, playing, and being this evening?
Why, yes. Yes, I can. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan, and I play Checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty frog pals, Mango and Junior. For a second, I was like, wait a second. What are their names again? it's been a little bit. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and there's a lot more in the frog stack now.
Who do I have to mention? It's exactly. But I think so. Checkers is feeling a little bit not sad, but his head's a little lighter these days because he is missing 3 gold coins because he lost them in gambling to the fortunate.
Yes.
So he's just like, well, I can't wait to get more money. But that's how Checkers is doing.
I also like Checkers has never once been motivated by money.
No.
And so I like the idea that he's just like, well, wait, I won it though.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna win it. I don't just want to ask Val for it.
Yeah.
I want to go back and win it from the fortunate. So I'm looking forward to playing cards tonight. But it sounds like we have some spooky things to deal with, which hopefully the person to my right will tell us about.
Hi, I'm Sophie, playing Valeska Carter, the human astral cleric of the Arcana domain. And I don't know why I'm telling you about it.
I don't know. Recap.
No.
I just assume Val knows everything, so I feel like that's...
I mean, Val might know everything, but I don't do the recap.
Oh, okay,
Jonathan.
well, fine.
Nathan's job.
Yeah.
And Val is walking into a spooky situation.
Something pretty weird.
And she's just like, you know what? I can turn undead. It'll probably be fine.
It's fine.
It'll be totally fine. And across the table from me is the person who named the spooky thing.
Ooh, yes, I did. Hi, everyone. My name is Steve, and I am playing Solve Asterlin, the Dragonborn monk, who at this point is convinced that, it's just a dream. Nothing's really It'll be fine. It's just, the weird images in the mist and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty much what as I looked at Nathan, and Nathan confirmed by nodding vigorously that I was correct.
Definitely.
Actually what happened, canon. And to my right.
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Cascarin Brightmane, the Dwarven Warlock. And this is probably going to be our first combat at level 5.
Ooh.
Fancy. It's going to be spicy.
Yes, which are level 5 level up, available now for our patrons. Speaking of spooky ooky combats, that is indeed about what you find yourselves into. You guys have been on the road on tracking down some leads to hopefully be able to meet up with a powerful magic user who can help you reforge the control bands for your friends, the Bones, back in the Red City of Agmar. And it's weird outside the Red City of Agmar.
Mm-hmm.
And weird is like a best case scenario. Weird is like, cool, it was only weird today, and that's nice. Other times, it's very scary and bad, actually. As Jonathan said, you guys were sitting down the night before to play a little bit of cards with your Bones pal, the Fortunate, the undead centurion who had agreed to accompany you on this journey, when a spooky apparition appeared behind them and didn't really do anything. It was just kind of there. The Fortunate could not perceive it, but you guys certainly did. And eventually it kind of just disappeared. You went along your day regularly until a little while into your day, when suddenly the sky turned from day to twilight, and this apparition appeared once more to you all. And Steve, you wrote in your excellent notes, what did it say to you all?
I believe, if I have this correct, The apparition said, "Fight alongside me. Be the brothers and sisters who did not put us to rest."
Seems about right.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
This is why we love Steve, because he takes such good notes that Jonathan, David, and I have like given up taking notes.
Yeah, Steve will get it. It's fine.
Next time I gotta play a character that just doesn't pay attention to anything.
Teach everyone else a lesson. Make them
Play
do
a
the
character
work.
that can't write.
So, we join the heroes of the Golden Tree Guild, who are alone in kind of this expanse, this large field, the plains, rather, that you guys have been walking through for the last couple of days, not on the road, out in the wilderness. You see before you this specter, and you can't really say why, but everything is telling you this is the same apparition that has appeared to you a couple times, not just last night, but throughout the day today. And you get the sense that, again, it is extending this kind of like, again, pseudopod. I don't remember what appendage, I think, was the miscellaneous term that we decided. And extending kind of once more out to you guys and says this to you, join me. Your perception shifts ever so slightly. It's like when you're kind of looking at one of those magic pictures where you hold it really close to your eyes and then you cross your eyes and then you move it away. It's kind of that sensation. Something shifts in the way that you see the world. And behind this apparition kind of snaps into focus several other strange, almost formless apparitions. They are swirling together. There are suddenly dozens. Suddenly there are scores of these all swirling around, and at first it seems incomprehensible. They are simply blobs swirling around, smashing against each other. You see appear next to the apparition 4 other spirits. And all of this is happening in this weird dreamlike way where you see them in front of you, but also you see them moving into the fray. You see them start to swirl. You see this apparition that appeared to you and its 4 companions stand together, go into combat together. And then a large entity approaches, almost a shadow of static. And the 4 companions leave and run, leaving one to face down this foe. Your focus shifts again, and it's almost like everything is reset. There is swirling going on, and the apparition is once again extending its appendage to you all. And the 4 spirits are flanking it again. And the apparition extends, and you hear it say, "Do you stand with me?" After a moment, the scene reenacts itself on a loop. No matter how long you guys stand there and watch before making any decisions, observations, what have you, you see these scenes play out over and over. It's the same movements, the same clashing, and the same betrayal, only to be reset again.
Quick question. Val was able to vibe check this apparition previously, and it, like, she learned it wasn't there to harm them.
No.
Just lost.
Correct. And, as a reminder, you also would have recognized what this is. It is a ghost, but it is not necessarily just kind of your run-of-the-mill, angry, unrest spirit. But this is an echo, a shadow of something that happened before, kind of in the same way that objects of focus were made. That there was something so tragic, so beautiful, so inspiring, so loving, that the echo remained. And this one has been here for you do not know how long.
Remind me again, because the Fortunate didn't see the original one from the other day. Do they see this one?
The Fortunate's like, is everything okay? You guys are just kind of standing there. What's,
Don't know yet.
Checkers would probably start to go up to this sort of scene and start trying to wave his hands through it to see if he can, like...
What part of the scene?
Just maybe, like, when the person turns to face us and yell, "Do you stand with me?" He would, like, try to wave his hand through the spirit's arm and see if he can, like, mess with it, basically.
Yeah, so your hand passes through it and seemingly no effect. Especially because you're just, like, playing with it, right?
Yeah, basically.
And whatever. Yeah, so it doesn't even react to you doing it. Like, it spends the same amount of time with its appendage extended to you guys, and then everything resets and replays in the same pace, the same order as it did previously.
And Casquin almost can't take his eyes off of this. He sees the spirit reaching out his hand, asking for help, and it's like he is already in there, charging forward with the other people. Like, he feels such a deep need to go in and help that he almost steps in just by himself before turning around and realizing what's going on.
What's your passive perception?
13.
Actually, Cascarin, because you feel that way, and you're already kind of feeling swept up in it, you can swear you hear battle. It's muffled and distant and almost incoherent, but you've heard battle before, and the rhythm is the same.
And it's like he can't even tell if this is coming from whatever vision this is, whatever echo, or if it's a memory that's somehow gotten jostled from his mind.
Yeah, and could be both.
The apparition or any of the other apparitions, are there any details that come out, like a crest or...
Not right now.
Okay.
No, it is just pure kind of smoky static as you look.
Okay.
As the apparition holds out his hand, and knowing Cass's background and insight into both him and this shade in front of us, Val will reach out not to accept the shade's hand, but to put a reassuring and like affirmative hand on Cass's shoulder and like squeezing it to say, yes, Val is behind him.
And this is the first time as you touch Cascarin's shoulder that he turns around and sees everyone and sees the quizzical look on the Fortunate's face. There's something in front of us, a battle scene, a shadow of something that happened here who knows how long ago. It seems they're asking for help in a great fight, and kind of relays what he's seeing to the Fortunate.
The Fortunate walks over to you and just knows that you are obviously kind of like in a zone, and then just kind of like leans over in front of you because she is much taller and like kind of brings her face down to you, and you get the impression that it's just like checking for concussion, basically. You see, okay, there's a battle, okay.
Fortunate, we all see
Weird.
this. Or I see this as well. It's not just Cass.
As do I.
Yeah, it's there. I messed with it.
And then
but it's there.
This will be directed, I guess, at everyone except for Checkers. 'Cause I'm guessing Checkers doesn't know, but maybe. Are there any large battles that you know of that happened here?
Are there any large battles that I know of here?
Give me a history check.
Guess what dice I'm using?
What dice are you using, Sophie?
I'm using these amazing dice from Starbuck that are molten. What did you say? Molten core.
Yes, we got some brand new dice It is our first recording episode 50, which alone is a fucking cool milestone. 50 hours of content.
Happy 50,
Happy
everybody.
50.
Yeah.
And it is also our first recording session after our birthday. And so, got a little gift by way of Starbuck, STRRBUCK on Twitter, who makes amazing artisan dice.
They are
including
incredible. They are
these
amazing.
molten core dice, which basically means there's a lot of sparkles, of bright red sparkles for the red city of Agmar inside of these dice, so that when you roll them, they swirl around like a
It's
cool
like a
snow globe.
snow globe. Yeah.
I thought they were kind of like self-colored too, because you had like the
Oh, yeah.
they're silverish, but some red in there. and They're very nice.
Yours can be whatever color you want them to be, Steve.
That's canon that's my head canon.
Yeah.
We also got 2 additional giant dice. One of them with, both of them with like cool landscapes in them. One of them with a billium, with a little frog with butterfly wings, and one with a beautiful donkey Pegasus, who is technically maybe a future Hody. We'll see. Wings, spider legs, who's to say? So thank you, Starbuck.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Cascarin would also like to roll history to see if he's heard of any battle that's happened around this area before.
So this one will be pretty hard.
Guidance.
Cool. I'll allow it.
Cascarin with a 9.
Valeska with a 19.
You don't, even with a 19. And specifically, if you had any more information, any more context, you know that this battle happened sometime between 30 and 150 years ago.
That's oddly specific.
Well, because these are phenomenon very similar to objects of focus, right? And there is a point where new objects of focus and new similar phenomenon stopped happening on Rixia. So you know whatever this was, it happened sometime before that. And also, they weren't always happening. So there's a gap of quite a long time, and which is obviously a lot of history to be keeping track of. But you might get more information should you participate. Who knows?
Selv will stand up a little straighter and say, "They're asking for our assistance. We should help."
Val will nod and look to Cass.
He looks back to the rest of the group before slowly extending one rocky hand to reach towards the shadow.
Do you stand with me?
And he grasps his hand. "We stand with you, brother."
The last thing you hear before something once again shifts is a fortunate says, I'll be here. Good luck. And then it is as if this is a very modern interpretation but is the only way I can truly express it. You know when you're at the optometrist and they finally click in the lenses that you can see through? That is what happens. Suddenly, all of the static takes the shape of mortals all around you. You are immediately thrust into battle. And this is not a fight. You guys have been in fights. This is a battle. This is a war. There are people all around you. It seems like you're maybe in some sort of a camp or something, but again, it's dark-ish. You guys can see fine, but it's strange. There are tents everywhere, and there is pandemonium. There are rallying cries from one side, and there is war cries coming from whoever the aggressors were, and scores of people are swirling around in a dance of death that probably none save for Cass or maybe Checkers has ever experienced on this scale in their lives. This is a proper war. You all snap into this reality. You hear the clang of steel. You smell smoke. You hear all of these sights and sounds and experiences of being thrust into this. And you are all standing, not where you were, but where those shadows were. And in between you all is a man. This handsome man is wearing what must have once been gleaming plate armor, and he stands before you with a stylized bear head on his breastplate. He is haggard, he has pretty roughly cut black hair, beige skin darkened by dirt and the sun, and an air of tiredness. But still, he stands, eyes narrowed, holding a long sword in both hands, at a colorful figure 30 or 40 feet away from you as battle swirls. Before we go any further, this all feels very real, but also feels like a dream. You are yourselves, but you are also clearly representative of whoever was here. When you look at one another, you see each other. Your thoughts are your own, but somehow you are still part of this narrative machine, if that makes sense.
We're playing a role in...
It's more you are symbols. So you are still Val. Your choices are still Val choices. You don't need to worry about suddenly, you are actually this person from the past. But it's kind of one of those things where you have free will and your actions change things, but also maybe your actions don't change things. It's very strange, but you get the sense, again, that you are yourselves in this moment.
And Checkers just kind of like wiggles his arms in front of him, and I'm imagining he's seeing like this kind of spooky, ghostly aftermath as he's wiggling his arms back and forth. He's like, neat.
Yeah, it is. It's not even full like arms or whatever. Yeah, it's just like this vapor trail.
Yeah,
is kind of going behind you as if, again, it's a little dreamlike, a little bit. Is this smoke trailing from me, or is it a strange echo of your movements and the movements of whoever was here before you?
Mm-hmm.
Across a battlefield, it's kind of one of those poetic moments that you see in movies where, while the battle rages on around you, there is a clear line of sight between you and the individual that this person, this apparition who is now seemingly real, is yelling out to. The person across from you is wearing extremely colorful robes. It is relatively skinny, pale skin, shaved head. He is wearing kind of a cape on top of his very colorful robes, which is also colorful, which has this huge, almost cartoonishly tall collar on it. And the only thing that he appears to be holding is a large banner. I will say, definitely Val, but probably multiple of you guys would look over and see an eye surrounded by 4 other symbols. One at the top and 3 others, kind of in a diamond pattern. And you guys would know this is a symbol of the Pentarchy. This colorful individual looks over at you all, specifically focusing on the apparition between you, but taking you all in. And it calls out in this supernaturally loud voice. You may have found our camp, but you will not find us easy prey, Prince Robard. And even if you beat us here now, reinforcements will be here in not but a few hours and wipe out this pathetic resistance once and for all. It will be I, Barl the Muse, Chord Caller of the 5 Crowned Kings, to finally bring your people under the rule of the Pentarchy. And you can see as he is saying this, you see people kind of start to form up around him, clearly gathering around this person and ready to defend them and charge into battle. The apparition in front of you, the prince in front of you, responds, "We fought the Pentarchy for months, and you should know us to be skilled enough hunters to wipe you out and be gone long before those reinforcements come." And as the tides shift, where you all sense that moment where you go from not fighting for your lives to fighting for your lives. As the two sides begin to charge, you hear Barl the Muse, Chord Caller of the Five Crowned Kings, yell out, "We shall see!" Roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Jeez, all right.
Selv with a 21.
Ooh.
Wow, nice.
Ooh.
Checkers with a 14. Caskrin with a 6.
Val with a 7.
The battle rages around you, but you guys are engaged in kind of a particular set of combatants. For the sake of simplicity, and I guess I'll ask for the listeners at home, Jonathan, could you please describe the amount of miniatures that I, the Dungeon Master, have now put on the table that are not you guys?
One might call them arrayed.
Nathan has put down at least twice as many enemy figures as there are allied figures, which is it's a lot.
Indeed, we do a
Yeah.
lot of theater of the mind here, but I felt like we should probably keep track of this.
just to represent the sheer number of foes that we're having to face here. It's like 20. It's like a lot. Yeah.
It's like a lot.
Yeah.
I have some mixed news for you all. First of all, the majority of these creatures are minions. And I mean that mechanically. We are going to, for this combat, be trying out the MCDM minion rules from their upcoming monster book, Flea Mortals, which has a great name that is actually Rixia adjacent, which is extra fun. I will be asking for money, Matt Colville, thank you. So there are two groups of minions. They do a bunch of things that kind of work well together. If they take damage from an attack or by failing a saving throw, they are dead. If they take any damage that does not involve an attack or saving throw, or if they succeed a saving throw, there are other more finicky rules that you guys don't need to worry about. So treat them kind of as normal, and you just get to do extra fun stuff.
Fucking pissed. I don't get to go first because I have ideas.
Well, you should be better at rolling initiative.
Yep.
I have no bonuses.
But that is not all that is here. There are also two individuals who have formed up, who both have large spiked shields and kind of a spear that are getting into formation alongside each of these groups of minions. Behind them is the Chord Caller of the Pentarchy, and next to him is a dwarf woman who is sidled up, who has what appears to be a long bow. And everyone here, imagine them all in fairly colorful outfits, which you guys, again, Val especially, would know was pretty common of the Pentarchy.
Loud in voice and clothing.
Yes, exactly. And they are all forming up clearly as trained soldiers. And the front line is about 30 feet away from you guys, and then the person with the bow and the Chord Caller is about, we'll say, 40, 45 feet away or so. Any final questions?
Does the grass provide any sort of cover, or are we actually not in grass?
Good question. If you were to drop down, you would have cover or be obscured.
Okay.
As you guys are all gathering up, the prince in front of you doesn't even turn around to look, but says in a sure voice, "With me!" as he readies and starts to charge into battle, as Selv is also acting.
All right, I guess with him.
This is the problem with having slow initiatives, is like, I have all these ideas, and I can't do any of them. Yeah.
I want to tell you, but also want it to be a surprise.
Okay, and you said it's, I guess, on Selv waist-high grass? Maybe a little bit lower?
Probably a little bit lower. You're pretty
Okay.
tall.
Okay.
You can
So
see.
thigh-
You can still
thigh-high
see.
grass?
Yeah, probably. You can still see the head and shoulders of Checkers, even if he's just standing there,
Yeah.
not on Mango. And also, Mango and Junior
Yeah.
are with you. And again, it's just kind of it's one of those dream logic-y things where it's like, well, of course they're here, but also like, kind of why are they here?
One of the soldiers has been embodied by Junior. And he's just like standing there in the field, just like, soldier, what are you doing?
We will leave that to everyone's individual headcanons on and off this podcast, but sure.
Okay, so I am going to shout to Checkers my idea.
Ooh.
And so Selv will turn and shout, "Checkers, entangle."
Ow, you read my mind.
And point to the right-hand side group. And then Selv himself will move towards the left-hand side, not the minion folks, but will move towards the regular-looking...
Towards the ones with the shields.
The ones with the shields, yeah. In a probably what would seem like a stupid move, he's going to position himself so that he can see the dwarf with the bow.
Yep.
And give her a good shot at him.
Ah, okay.
I want you to do it. Roll a charisma check to see how interesting of a target you look.
Okay. What is that's a
Totally normal roll to ask for in your Dungeons and Dragons combat.
6.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Please know, Starbuck, we're all using your dice. So
Read according.
Yeah.
it's
Anything else?
CPK. It's all on
Yes.
them.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Yes, because that is well within my movement range. So then I will actually take, we'll call it 3 attacks on the person in front of me. 12,
That's a miss. You are rebuffed by the shield.
19.
That is a hit.
And then it's 25 on the offhanded attack.
Why, yes. Yes, indeed.
Total of 12 points of damage on that shield bearer.
You're able to deftly dodge and duck kind of underneath the shield. It is clearly very proficient at blocking, but you are still able to find plenty of spots to punish it.
And that will end my turn.
Okay. Now it is the Chord Caller's turn.
Oof.
You see this skinny individual puff up its chest in almost strange proportions. And then its jaw opens. His jaw. I won't say it. It's a person. But its jaw opens up in a very wide, you're not sure if it's supernatural, but just a weird way. And he begins to sing. He kind of does a couple bars of warm-up, I guess, until he hits a specific note. And it's this high octave, piercing note. High above you, operatic notes flutter around, and you can feel this swirl of magical energy. And you all kind of like cringe a little bit, but it seems like everyone else is emboldened by it. The other shield bearer gets to move as a reaction.
Oof.
And it moves, we'll call it about 10 feet, over to Selv, and is going to make an attack against you for free. Does a 16 hit?
Yes, it does.
Ha! You fool. What it does, it runs up, and instead of using its spear, it slams its spike shield into you. And you take low damage. You only take 4 points of piercing damage. However, you are now knocked prone. No save.
Oh, jeez.
But
Oh, no. That's bad.
Sorry, that was a bonus action.
Oof.
As its action, it immediately kind of like hit shifts up even higher. And checkers.
Yes.
Ooh, that's very high. Does a 20-something hit your AC?
Absolutely.
You guys all see emitting from this creature's mouth, as it hits this shifting tone and goes even higher, it is as if, like, imagine, it's very anime, but like this like almost spout of sound pierces out towards Checkers and just like hits you square in the chest, like it is someone hitting you like you are a drum, and just boo. You take 13 points of thunder damage.
damn.
Ow. Jeez.
And again, this is all just part of this soaring aria that is like both beautiful and just the worst thing you've ever heard, all at the same time. Hi everyone, it's me, DM Nathan, coming to you once again with the mid-roll. First, 3 quick reminders for you all. Number 1, hey, why don't you get up and stretch a little bit? Reminder 2, be sure to grab yourself a refreshing glass of water. And reminder 3, be sure to follow us over on Twitter at reckless_attack for the latest updates, art, jokes, promos, and more. Finally, we are excited to bring you an ad this week. Ads and sponsorships are great ways to help us keep the lights on, as well as introduce you all to people and products you might be interested in. A real win-win if you ask me. Ad-free early access episodes are available on Patreon. And now, a word from our sponsors.
What was that recipe again? Oh, right. There it is. New locations. Yes, 4 should do. For flavor, new beasties. 30 will be perfect. For body, new spells and items. 20 of one, 30 of the other. Yes, yes. And for the final touch, 2 chilling adventures to set the mood. Perfect. Baba will love this. Fill your bowl with horror this holiday season with Baba Lasaga's Nocturnes and Nightmares. This supplement for 5th edition will sate your hunger for fright, providing everything you need to bring chills to your table. Coming October 21st to the DM's Guild. Make sure to be hungry.
The Chord Caller is now just like hitting several notes, and it's some sort of like whistling command system, if that makes sense. You know, where like he's saying certain notes that mean different signals. And the rightmost group of minions move and surround Val.
I don't like this.
You should not. Does a 19 hit?
Yeah.
You take 7 points of damage. You take 2 base damage and 5 extra points of damage for each minion next to you. That is their turn.
So all of these soldiers just charge up towards Val and surround her immediately on the edge of this like defensive line.
Yes, and they are charging as a unit. Like clearly this is a group that are like trained to work together as like a mini squad, and they beeline straight to Val.
Jeez.
I'll be fine. I got this.
All right.
And now the other group of minions get to go.
I don't got them. Like,
Charge towards Val.
Checkers is right there. You and
say-
Cass and Checkers are right there.
Ooh, is he gonna go? Are they gonna go to? No, they are a trained military unit.
Yeah.
And they see fucking. They see Kaskrin in super heavy armor.
Yeah.
And with a giant warhammer, and then they also see a frog. I mean, they don't really, but like. They do and they don't.
They see a soldier making frog noises.
Yes.
And it's like,
That's very interesting.
maybe we should ignore that one. He doesn't seem like a threat. Why is he just standing on all fours and jumping up and down? Yeah.
Exactly. But I was imagining you guys are pretty close together, so Cass, they are essentially right next to you as well, but are clearly focusing on trying to get Checkers down. Checkers, I'm going to roll to attack you.
You got it.
Ooh, that is a very high to hit. There's a 17 on the die.
Yes.
So you also take 7 points of damage. Your chest is already bruising a little bit.
Yeah.
And you are getting just sort of stabbed. And again, each of them kind of have like short swords and bucklers that they're all just like trying to dip and dodge and try to like wherever your attention is, that's where the strike, doesn't come from. It's always striking your back, always striking an unguarded shoulder. What do you do?
Yeah, so the prince yelled out, "With me!" And Checkers is just like, I don't know about that one. As he's been blasted by sound, he's been trying to hold on to Mango's saddle, and now all of these people have just run up to him and are just trying to stab him left and right. Checkers is kind of rethinking his battle strategy, especially after Selv yelled out to entangle the foe.
Yeah, it was really, you lost on initiative by literally 1 or 2 to both of these groups.
Yep. But he also sees the Chord Caller way in the distance.
Yes.
Actively trying to just blast him with sound again. So what Checkers is going to do, he's going to grasp onto Mango's saddle and just call out, "All right, boy, let's get going." Mango's going to disengage.
Mm-hmm.
And Checkers and Mango and Junior are going to leap out of the combat and into the distance.
Now, and I don't remember the rules, my memory of the rules of when you have a mount who is disengaging, do you also get to disengage?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I knew it had come up a lot in our last campaign, and all of that information was gone from my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Cool and great.
I assume like the prince is assuming all of his allies are just with him, and all of a sudden he just sees one of them just run away.
No, well, and again, it's like, but this is combat, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you're not like running. You
Yeah.
are getting distance from people who have come up to you.
Yep.
Very reasonable, I think, response from a seasoned warrior. So how far away do you move from the people who are just descending upon you?
Mango's actually going to jump forward towards the Chord Caller, out of the reach of the trained group of soldiers who just ran up onto him.
Cool.
And he's going to keep hopping in that direction.
Cool. I'm imagining since you disengaged, you kind of, since it's not just like a straight up jump, you're kind of like disengage and like take a couple waddling steps back to get clearance and then just poof over all of these people.
Yep. Checkers turns around and just makes like a bleh face at all of the enemies while he conjures up a spell. As an action, he's going to cast the spell Spike Growth underneath all of the soldiers who just tried to stab him, and they can all see underneath their feet this bed of white, jagged coral appear, trapping them in place.
Sick. Now, the second shield bearer, the one who is commanded to move and attack Selv, gets to take his turn.
Oh no.
It's fine.
It's fine. Selv is prone in front of a melee attacker.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It is going to attack at disadvantage. It's going to stab down with its spear onto you.
At
advantage.
Did I say disadvantage?
Yeah.
Yes, which
At
I'm
advantage.
hoping
No.
was correct.
I mean, yes. No, you said it. You said disadvantage. You just no takesies, backsies.
You really wish that I had disadvantage because I rolled a 2, but I also rolled a 16 again.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah,
4 points of piercing damage.
I'm down. Just kidding.
Sorry, guys. I haven't healed in 18 days.
Don't do this to us,
I
Steve.
haven't spent any hit dice.
I'm at 5 levels of
it says
exhaustion.
I have the option of spending hit dice. I just
We didn't do it on air, so it doesn't count.
It breaks my immersion, you know?
That is its turn. Valeska Carter, you are surrounded by 5 soldiers. And again, these are a mix of different mortals. There's kind of no one predominant group or ancestry, anything that served the Pentarchy either now or kind of historically.
Val is still reeling from this immersion into war. Something she's never experienced before, and given what they saw as the apparition asked for their help, she was like, oh, it's gonna be one big monster. We've done that before. No, it is into chaos and bloodshed that she is thrust, and given her high insight, she feels like every emotion that even though they're apparitions, like the emotion she feels is real.
Yeah, it is. Everything is real. Every moment of this is visceral and is happening as far as every sense in your body is concerned, especially for someone as like empathic as Val is.
Mm-hmm. And she immediately needs to get all of these soldiers away from her. As Val is almost like in a panic at all of the things occurring around her, she almost in like instinct casts Spirit Guardians.
Fuck yeah.
And you see spectral librarians all around her.
Nice.
Ghosts
To, like-
within ghosts.
Yeah, to bring her like comfort and security in this moment.
library card. Where's your library card? It's over 2. There are fees. There are fees. Best to notice.
So I will need.
That's a lot.
And do they take saves right now? Or is it started this turn?
When the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there,
Cool.
it must make a wisdom saving throw.
So at the start of their turn, I'll start making those saves. But yeah, you can see them all swirling. I'm imagining, that was perfectly described where you're just like starting to get like beaten down and poked and prodded, and there's just an explosion of arcane and holy energy as just all these mean librarians start just like smacking books on palms. Casker and Brightmane, on either side of you are soldiers everywhere. There are soldiers in front of you, and there are 2 foes, 2 commanders in the back. It is a target-rich environment. What do you do?
I'm actually going to do something really dumb.
Hell yeah.
And we'll see if it works. So Cascarin trundles forward away from the two groups of minions.
Which is
Trundle.
maybe the least heroic word, but I'm like, ooh.
But it
Yeah.
evokes
Tell me
exactly
Tell
what,
me
yeah.
that's wrong. I dare you.
And he moves towards the two shield bearers that are overshadowing Selv. From the ground, he casts stone forming and stomps his foot against the earth. In front of him, this large stone slab erupts in front of him, and he sort of breaks it off, holding it as a shield
Fuck yeah.
against these two creatures. In his right hand, he summons forth magical energy and thrusts his hand to the sky. He is going to cast Minor Illusion.
Ooh, okay.
And much like the Chord Caller is performing this aria, having, notes fly around in the air and making this music, Cascarin is going to try and disrupt that by playing notes that are kind of discordant to try and throw him
okay.
off. So maybe he can't quite hit the right notes in order to get the effect that he wants. There's
Okay.
something in his ear blocking that.
Okay, cool. Let's roll opposed checks. He will roll performance, and you can roll whatever you would like. And I'm giving you advantage because it's a fucking cool idea.
I'm picturing this operatic kind of thing coming from one end, and then Cass steps up, and you hear this Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, it's very Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
And Cascarin will make a opposed performance check.
Cool. And yes, I do have a number for performance
Nice.
of this character. Ooh, okay. What'd you roll?
Cascarin has a 23.
That beats it.
Hell yeah.
So it's not even that you like distract him necessarily. The notes that you put out are like just discordant enough that it like muddies everything. And so like it is just a little bit less effective. And we will say, depending on what he ends up doing, he will get a disadvantage on his next turn. That is sick as fuck. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. Now, it is the Dwarven Bowmaster's turn. She is going to kind of circle around just a little bit so that there's clear line of sight between Checkers and Cascarin, but is going to draw back her bow on Cascarin as Cass is like kind of behind this stone wall and very clearly concentrating on his music, and is going to do a sneak attack. A 23 to hit.
Hits.
Okay. 8 points of piercing damage.
I take all 8, and I don't like that.
Oh, actually, I forgot sneak attack.
Oh, jeez.
It does more than that. You take 9 more points of damage.
Oh, my God.
How you doing?
Not great after that. I took 17 points of damage in one go.
Who's worse, you or Checkers?
Definitely me.
Yeah, I'm not doing hot either, but
And then it is going to use its bonus action and is going to dash and move back 20 feet. So now is probably about 40 feet away from Checkers and probably 30 feet away from Cascarin.
Okay.
That is the end of round 1. Val is still menaced by 5 of this kind of like military unit. Checkers is in a no man's land by himself. Cascarin is also pushing towards the prone Selv, having his own kind of stone wall up against these 2 shield breakers, and the Chord Caller's melodies still carry over the battlefield, even as it is pierced by Cascarin's weird and bad notes. Selv,
yes,
you can see the prince is in his own part of the no man's land, who is also pushing up against his own kind of like small squad, and you can see him clearly a seasoned warrior, clearly a battlefield leader who is cutting through people, trying desperately to get to the Chord Caller and to continue to get momentum for his fight. What do you do laying prone in the grass?
Well, first of all, mechanically, I'm going to spend half my movement to stand up.
Seems good.
But what that's actually going to look like is Selv kicks his foot around and does this twirl and pushes himself up with his hands.
Yeah.
Very
Kind of
breakdancing.
flips himself up so he's standing. And then turn to Cass and say, "Are you okay here?"
Cascarin has this shield in front of him and just this arrow jutting out in between the plates in his armor, and it says, "I'll be fine. Go get him."
then I am going to spend 1 point of key to use Step of the Wind, which allows me to use Disengage as a bonus action. That leaves me with 20 feet of movement. Can I get to the Chord Caller?
And you're disengaging, so you would not take any attacks of opportunity. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. We've got to the Chord Caller. Then I am going to take my attacks against him. I'm going to do these one at a time because I am spending another point of key to attempt a Stunning Strike.
Okay,
Total of 20.
that hits.
Okay. Spending a key point for Stunning Strike, which means the Chord Caller needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Failure.
Excellent. They are stunned,
Nice.
which means my second attack.
And how much damage does that attack do, before we forget?
Right. So that will be 4 points of damage.
Saving it for the stunned one.
Saving it for the stunned ones, yeah.
You, like, punch him in the throat, basically, and you just hear, like, a supernatural... as the aria stops, and only you can hear is the discordant notes from Kaskrin.
You sing like a member of the Pentarchy. My second attack will be at advantage because he is stunned. So a 19 on the die.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ooh, max damage. 11 points of bludgeoning damage from that one. And if there's any movement, or if I could have positioned myself this way, I'm going to put the Chord Caller between myself and the dwarf with the bow.
He's like, you punch him in the throat, and he, like, reels backwards, and you punch him in the stomach, and he, like, bowls over, and then I'm imagining Self just kind of then, like, lifts him up by the collar and kind of, like, just, like, lifts his limp form.
Or Self ducks just a little bit to get,
Exactly.
And that will be the end of my turn.
Excellent. It is his turn. Does he get a save or anything, or is it till he is stunned?
No, it's until the end of my next turn.
So you hear, I would be so lucky if I had the voice of the Pentarchy. That is his turn. Now it is the group that is surrounding Val's turn. There are still 5 of them. It is going to take...
No, they're not. Those bitches gonna make
they're
me a
taking
save.
some fucking wisdom saving throws. All right, I'm going to roll some wisdom save. What is the DC?
Excellent question. 15?
I think it's higher than
15.
that. Oh, nice. Okay.
Fail.
Yeah!
Ooh.
So there are 5 again. They are all bearing down you. They're clearly well-trained military units. And this explosion of arcane energy, and they kind of are all taken aback. And as they go into kind of get to work on you again, you just see a bunch of them just being cold-cocked by librarians.
So it does do damage.
So you automatically kill everyone who failed.
Okay.
So 4 of them just get whacked in the back of the head. Roll for damage.
Those late fees get you
Yes,
every time.
but because you do half damage on a successful saving throw, you can still potentially still do enough damage to wipe all 5 of them out in one
Okay. That is 11 damage.
go. Just enough.
Yeah.
So immediately 4 of them just get wiped out by these librarians, and then one is kind of standing and, like, looking around like, wait, what just happened? And then just all the librarians just, like, descend upon it. And
No. I want it to be like...
Absolutely.
So you are describing them kind of like the raptors of Jurassic Park, where, like, it's the attack's never coming where you think it is.
Yes.
And so, like, the one who saved was, like, bobbing and weaving, like, like dodging, like, stamps and stuff. And then just, like, this tiny, like, gnome-looking librarian, like, pops up at his hip, like, gotcha.
and that's when
The
he looks
classic
and goes,
librarian line. Gotcha.
goes, clever girl.
Yep. And then just kneecaps him with a book. All 5 die at your feet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey.
It's the other group's turn, though. And, ooh.
Yes, come to me.
I was going to say, I think they'll be like, I don't like the look of that.
Well, in Spirit Guardian's defense, it didn't happen when it
Right
first
away.
arrived, so,
I think they probably still look at that and are like, no, thank you.
I imagine Val, like, looking at them and them looking back, and Val being like, The library welcomes everybody.
Enter all who seek knowledge.
Yes, they're going to take their chances with the frog that is hopping away from them. How far did you move?
30 feet, but
Okay.
they are all still surrounded by spike growth.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
So they can come after me if they want, but they're gonna have some pokey feet.
Val is closer.
I am so pissed. That's so.
Strategery.
And remind me, after this combat, remind me to tell you why I am so pissed at you.
Val's closer.
Yeah, there's no good option. I think they are going to try and brave the plant growth and just almost not realizing how sharp it's going to be. You
Yeah.
know, they just start trudging and they're like, oh no. What do they have to roll?
They don't have to roll anything, but for every 5 feet of movement, they take 2d4 points of piercing damage,
Ooh.
and it is difficult terrain. So they can move towards me, but they're going to be finding themselves with a lot of damage.
It doesn't have any HP or anything, right?
No.
It can't be hacked at.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is they are all taking... They are going to start hacking at it. I mean, mechanically, it
Yeah.
makes no difference. But they are going to take the dodge action.
Sure.
As part of their action and hope that something bails them out. Please, God. This is all bad. This is all bad.
Yep.
So that's what they're doing. They're all just hacking, and there's probably 2 that are just on the outskirts of your aura, Val.
So I see that Kaskrin has this giant arrow sticking out of him, and he's facing down 2 shield bearers. What I'm going to do is just look over at him and just reach an arm out and begin casting a spell. That spell is the first level spell Sanctuary as a bonus action. So something kind of comes up around your vision, and it's almost like you've been encased in this bubble of water. The view in front of you is kind of distorted, but the enemies are also seeing the same distorted view of you.
And Kaskrin looks back at you, Checkers, and then looks towards the 2 shield bearers in front of him and has this menacing grin as he hunkers behind his shield, and this dome of water envelops him in protective energy.
And then Checkers just kind of reaches down towards Mango. All right, one more. And Mango dashes off towards the dwarf with the longbow.
Ooh, cool.
So he'll move 60 feet towards that longbow wielder way off in the distance.
Yeah, boy.
And then Checkers is going to hop off of Mango and just run around the side of the longbow user and just be like, hey, where do you think you're going?
Kind of a flank kind
Yeah.
of situation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I thought when you said you were gonna, seeing that Cass has the arrow sticking out of him, you were gonna reach towards him and just go the
And
arrow.
I yank it out against medical advice.
You'll be fine.
Anything else?
That's it.
Just then, you all see a flash of arcane energy off in the distance of the battlefield. And again, it's twilight, so you have pretty good vantage point. This light is hundreds of yards away from you. It appears as though there are figures that appear in this flash of light. And it is only a small group. You can just barely make out some vague details. But a voice rings out, also supernaturally loud, across these hundreds of yards, across the din of the raging battle around. And this deep voice comes out from a creature that appears to be seated on a horse, maybe, and carrying some sort of large weapon. As this small group moves into combat, you see bodies start to fly. More than that, you see it appears as though allies are turning on each other too, in this kind of strange group. Those that are closest are going flying to imperceptible weapon attacks, and in a ring around, it seems like people have stopped fighting or are fighting each other, or it's immediate, just a different kind of pandemonium. And you hear this booming voice.
Prince, the Dreamcatcher scried the battle had begun, and I decided I should wade in to crush your little army. All who remain on this battlefield have no further terms of peace extended to them, only terms of death. You face Nazar the Black, King of Discord, member of the Pentarchy. Flee now, or your lives are forfeit.
And that is where we will end this week's episode, everybody.
Oh my God.
We will see you next week.
Will we?
Yeah.
Oh, right. The put us to rest fight.
What?
The put us to rest fight. That was the last thing they said. Put us to rest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that?
The apparition was like something. My brothers and sisters.
I have
yeah.
no idea.
put us to
what
rest.
it
I only know because I just finished editing.
Fight alongside me. Be the brothers and sisters who did not put us to rest.
I do not remember that at all.
I may have you read that.
I don't know why I just like blacked out that entire end of that session. I don't remember that.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sorry about that.
No,
How could you see?
don't celebrate your holidays.
Yeah.
Steve.
I know.
God.
Ugh.
We don't do that around
See,
here.
friends and family, gross.
We are your friends. We are
Right.
your, the game
We
is
are
your
all
family.
gonna take off around Christmas, so
Right.
it's the same thing.
We don't care about your Rosh Kippur or your Yom Hashana.
You signed a contract, Steve? Where
Yeah.
you joined this podcast?
If you look at the fine print,